In this video, I am going to cover Excel array constants and how to use array constants in an array formula. So for that, first let us see what is an array constant. So I'm going to type a formula here equal to, so I'm starting a curly brace. I am giving some comma separated numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and closing the curly brace. So all these numbers inside this curly brace is called array constants because these are all constants. If I include all these comma separated numbers inside a curly brace and type equal to and apply the formula, what happens? So it prints the array constants in these adjacent cells horizontally. So because it is comma separated. So suppose if I type the array constants as 1, instead of comma separator, I will use semicolon. 2, semicolon 3, semicolon 4 and close the curly brace and press enter. These numbers will be printed vertically in a column. So this, if it is comma separated, it prints in a row. If it is semicolon separated, it prints in a column. So there is a function called sequence in Excel which does the same thing. So let us see what is a sequence function. So it says that how many rows you want to print the number. I want to print numbers in 4 rows and in 1 column. I'm leaving the start and step optional parameters. So let us see what it does. So it printed the numbers vertically in a column. So sequence 4. So that means I want to print the numbers in 4 rows and 1 column. So it printed starting from 1 because 1 is the default value and increment of 1, that is also default value. Started with 1 and increment of 1, it started printing in a single column in 4 rows. So if I change this to print in 5 rows, what happens? It prints up to 5 in 5 rows and 1 column. Suppose I want to print it horizontally. So I will use sequence rows. If I have to print horizontally, I have to give only 1 row. So it has to print in just 1 row but in many columns. So I'll say 5 columns. I'm skipping the start and step because this start, it will, if you skip, it will assume as 1, which is the default value. Step, if I skip, it will assume as 1, means it is the increment. So it will be assumed as 1, which is the default value. So I'm not going to give those numbers. So sequence 1, 5 means print in 1 row and 5 columns and starting with 1 and increment of 1. So let's see what happens. So it prints horizontally. So if I edit this formula, comma, start with number 10 and an increment of 10. Let's see what happens. It prints, so it starts from 10 and next one is increment of 10. So 20, 30, 40, 50. So that is how it works. Now we can combine these things together. So I'll copy this to save time and I'm going to type a formula and paste this array constant here. So here notice 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are separated by commas. So it will print horizontally. Then there is a semicolon. So that means it will wrap the control to the next row and then print 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 horizontally. Means because it's comma separated. And then we have a semicolon which will take it to the next row and then print 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 in a horizontal row. So let us see how it prints. See, if I press enter, so the formula is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comma separated, then semicolon, like that. So it printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then moved to the next row 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It printed there 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's the same thing I can construct using a sequence. So if I use sequence 3 rows and 5 columns, enter. So it created the same array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is sequence. So if I add the start number as 10 and step as 2, I mean increment of 2. Let's see what happens. It printed 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, like that. So when I am in this cell containing formula, I press F2. So it's showing the formula sequence 3, 5, 10, 2. So if I want to convert it into an array constant, you press the function key F9. So I'm going to press function key F9. See what happens. So it got converted to array constants format. So if press enter, it gives the same result, but if you look at the formula, it converted sequence to an array constant, because 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 comma separated, then a semicolon, then 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 comma separated, then semicolon, then 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. Suppose I want to copy this sequence to another location. So what I have to do, I have to type equal to and the first cell containing formula A15, but with a hash. So if I use a hash, it will copy the entire contents of this sequence in this cell. So the formula I will show you once again. It is the cell reference with a hash. So next, let us see how to use array constants to create an array formula. So I will use date function. So date function, the first parameter I have to give is year. So I'm going to use the year function, which gives the year of today's date. So I'm going today will return today's date. So the year component of today's date I will extract, which will give the year for my date. Month I will use 1, which is January, and day I will use 1st of January in this year 2023. So I will close this. So it printed 1/1/2023 using this formula. So today's dates year I extracted, I used 1 in place of month, and day I used the first of that month. I'm copying this array to save time. So I'm editing this formula. So in place of month, I am pasting this array constant. So I replaced 1 with an array constant consisting of numbers starting from 1 to 12. All these numbers represent each month in a year. So 1 represents January, 2 represents February, and 12 represents December. So I used an array constant in place of 1. That means this date function will work 12 times. Each time taking values from this array constants. So first it will take 1 and construct the date. Then it takes 2 and construct second date. Then it takes 3 and construct the third date. Like that, it will take 12 and construct the date for December. And day is 1, means first of every month. I am not changing anything else. I am just replaced number 1 for month with an array constant showing numbers starting from 1 till 12. Let me press enter to apply this formula. So it printed 12 dates for each month. So this is 1st of January, 1st of February, 1st of March, 1st of like that, 1st of December. So I can format it to show the month names in a nice way. I will edit this. I will add a text function around this. And the second parameter is the format, how to display the date. So I'm using MMM. This will display month name in short form, January as JAN, February as FEB, and then year in 4 digits. So I'm closing this and let's see how it prints. So now it printed month January as January 2023, February as February 2023, and December as December 2023. Now it looks nice. So in one shot, I can print 12 month names using this formula, which has an array constant. So it will print dates 12 times and then convert that using text function to display the year as MMMYYYY format. Now let us see how to use array formula to find largest numbers in this array. So for that, let us use a simple formula, not an array formula, to see how the large function works. So large, there is a function large. So large function returns the largest number So I'm using absolute reference. So k is, if I say 1, it will print the largest number from this array. And if I use 2, it will print the second largest number from this. And if I use 3 or 4, it will print fourth largest number, so which is 74. Suppose I want to print 4 largest numbers, the top 4 largest numbers. I will replace this 4 with an array constant by starting a curly brace 1, 2, 3, 4 and closing the curly brace. That means the large function will work 4 times, each time taking values from this array constant. So first it will assume value 1 and find the largest value, then it uses 2 and finds the second largest, and then 3 to find third largest, and then 4 to find the fourth largest. This it does in one shot. You don't have to copy large formula 4 times. So in one shot, using an array constant, we can print 4 largest numbers. So I'm pressing enter. So it printed in one shot 4 largest numbers in this array. So 98, 96, 93, 74. Now I can edit this formula to show the smallest numbers. So I used small. So it printed the smallest number 15, second smallest 18, third smallest 25, 24, and then fourth smallest 25. Suppose I give this array constants. Now I have given a comma separated array. Instead I will use semicolon and see what happens. I use a semicolon. I replace this with a semicolon. Press enter. So instead of printing horizontally, it printed vertically in a column. So that is the only difference. So comma will print the list horizontally, and semicolon will print it vertically in a column. I can replace this array constant with a sequence. Sequence 4 if I give. So I am specifying only number of rows. Columns I am skipping. So it will assume as 1. So it printed 4 in 4 rows using sequence. So instead of array constant, I use sequence. So now I print the sequence in 1 row and 4 columns. Let's see how it prints. So it printed the same list horizontally. So this is how I created this array formula using sequence instead of using array constants. So this is an array formula. In older versions of Excel, to print an array formula, we have to press Ctrl Shift and Enter after typing the formula. Then only it will create an array formula. But after September 2018 update of Excel, it allows to press normal enter to print an array formula. That's it for now. Thanks for watching this video. Please click on like button if you find the information I shared useful, and update comments. Also, please subscribe to my channel to get notified about new videos which I will post in future.